it's kind of like a relationship, right? You're like in a relationship with a bunch of other people and you have to align most everything. I could not have imagined us 18 years in. I guess I have like imposter syndrome still after all these years.
And I love Rugged Revival.
This is the Rugged Revival podcast. We're the people's country, Americana and roots music community. On today's show, I have the privilege of being joined by Ben from the Brothers Comatose. How's it going, Ben? How are you, mate?
Fantastic.
It's good to see you. I've been trying to get you guys on the show for a long time. Addie was on last year, and like I said just before we jumped on, she pointed me in your direction, so apologies for that, but hopefully we'll have a good conversation and find out what you guys are up to, man.
Hell yeah. Thanks for hitting me up.
Cool, man. So what have you guys been up to lately? You know, every time I go onto your Instagram feed or your social feed, you're here, there and everywhere. You're such busy guys. So kind of what's going on in your world, mate?
Well, currently we are in the middle of a little break, which is awesome. We kind of had a busy year so far. Touring and all that kind of stuff, recording, and we're about to pick back up, and it's about to get kind of crazy because we're just bouncing all over the place. We're doing California, we're doing the Grand Ole Opry in 2 weeks exactly, actually. We're doing Grand Ole Opry, we'll be doing some festivals, going to Europe and the UK, and yeah, we're just kind of going all over the place. It should be awesome, but it's nice to like have a little time at home. I've got 2 kids at home, so it's nice to like get to spend some super quality time. But I'm also looking forward to getting back out on the road, you know?
Yeah, I feel you, mate. What age are your 2 kids, mate?
3 and 5, 3.5, 5.5. So
okay, yeah. So the early years are tough, man. There's no getting around it. Mine are a little bit older, but it's just different challenges as they get older, mate. But
how old are yours?
So mine are 8 and 12.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been through that kind of younger phase, but now I'm kind of I've got the older one approaching teenage years, and you know everything that I do is cringe, uncool, and annoying. So that's what you're going to put up with. So that sounds cool, man. What you're up to? I mean, the Grand Ole Opry is just a bucket list item for so many people. I mean, you know, what's the story to that?
Well, we've been trying for years to get into the Grand Ole Opry, but I feel like we weren't bluegrass enough, I guess, or something. Not traditional. I don't really know. But I think maybe, I don't know if they got a new booker or if we just finally like passed a test or something like that. We got invited into the world and we got to play for the first time last fall. And when we were on, you know, you get 2 songs, you get like 10 minutes max as a new emerging artist on there. And then and then you go and like do an interview on the side of the stage and they're like, well, we can't wait to have you guys back. We're like, what? They want us back. And so we're going to be playing a festival in Kentucky called Romp on the 25th of June. And so we hit them up, which is pretty close to Nashville. So we hit them up and we're like, hey, we're going to be in town. Could we get back on? And it all worked out.
Good for you guys. I can't believe it's not bluegrass enough. I don't know what the criteria is for that, but yeah, I think you fit the mold pretty damn well for that establishment.
I don't know, whatever it is, we finally came around to it, so here we are.
And even more exciting, mate, well, for me anyway, is that you guys are coming back to the UK. You're kind of doing a stop of Europe as well. So I kind of noted Denmark, Sweden, I think, or maybe I got that wrong, Holland for sure.
Yeah, Denmark, Netherlands, UK, I have to remind myself, and one quick stop in Ireland before we head home.
Oh, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. Is that your first time in Ireland? I know it's not your first time in the UK, but how about Ireland?
I've been before. We got some family history in Ireland, so we kind of went and got to hang out in Dublin and which was awesome. So yeah, we're gonna head back and play. First time playing music over there, so I can't wait.
Superb. Yeah, it's we're gonna kind of promote the UK kind of tour that you're doing. I'm gonna try and get over to the Leamington Spa gig that you guys are doing. So it'll be cool to catch up and yeah, watch you guys live. You know, I don't catch as many live shows as I should, but yeah, when there's established artists like you come over for the UK, it's not to be missed, man.
Hell yeah. I don't know anything about, Leamington Spa, is that how you say
I
it?
think it's called Leamington Spa. Yeah, it's
O
right smack bang in the middle of England. But
okay.
it's a really nice place. Yeah, it's kind of near Shakespeare country, I think, Warwickshire and that
Do
sort
you
of
live
area.
there?
I live in just north of Birmingham, so again, right in the middle of the UK, and
Cool.
so it's a good place to kind of hang out and yeah, catch shows pretty much in London or wherever really. So that one was super close, and I thought I can't miss the opportunity. Again, I'm not ill this time, hopefully, and I'll be able to get over.
Yeah.
But there you go. But Ben, so we like to kind of dial it back right at the beginning of the show, just to kind of get a flavour of who you are and kind of the band's history as well. So I'm interested to kind of hear about where you're from originally and what was life like growing up for you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I am from, the San Francisco Bay Area, at the true home of bluegrass music, and, just kidding, just kidding. I grew up about an hour north of San Francisco in a town called Petaluma. It was the former chicken capital of the world a long time ago, and, now no longer the chicken capital, but, it was cool, man. My brother, who, plays banjo in the band, is, um is my only sibling, and we kinda grew up our mom was in a band growing up, and we used to kinda sit and watch them practice, do rehearsals in the garage and stuff like that, and, they were singing harmonies, and, it was just like just magic when we were little kids, and I think that kinda planted the seed, um, and, here we are all these years later in a band together and still doing the thing, which is pretty exciting, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. So mum was in a band. What kind of music was she playing, or what music was in the house when you were growing up?
It was a folk quartet. They were doing kinda Crosby, Stills and Nash type tunes, 4 singers, so everybody's doing harmonies and stuff like that, and, that's kinda they were listening to a bunch of different stuff, but definitely on the folkier side of things, a lot of acoustic music, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and, my mom was really into Loggins and Messina, and there was a bunch of, what did they all listen to? Neil Young and all kinds of cool stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Um, and it's funny because like, I feel like when you're a kid, you sort of rebel against your parents' music, and I'm like, "Yeah, their music is pretty cool." So, I'm down with that. I mean, I still did I went through my, like, rock I'm still into rock music, but, like, rap phase and all that kinda stuff, but, I always kept coming back to the acoustic stuff because it's just spoke to me, you know?
yeah, yeah. It's hilarious how many people I speak to on the podcast say they kind of rebelled against their parents' music. I think we all do. You're often stuck in the car if you're going on vacation or something, and you've got no choice but to listen to what you think is their crap, at the
Yeah.
time. And you come back around and think, actually, it was pretty cool, man. Some of the
Yeah,
stuff, not all of it, mind, but
of
a lot
course.
of it was good. But so life for you now is you're a husband, you're a father. Yeah. What's kinda life like at home, mate?
Dude, I mean, the band got started in San Francisco, and that's kinda where we, developed the whole thing. Phil, our fiddle player, he just lived down the street from us on, Haight Street in San Francisco. And so we lived there for a long time and played a lot around there. I moved to Oakland to move in with my wife in this like warehouse space. Then we started having kids and we're like, oh man, we gotta get out of here. And so we moved back up north, kind of in the area where I grew up because I don't know if you live close to your parents or in-laws or anything like that, but being close to family is pretty key when you got a couple kids. And
Yes,
uh,
yeah.
especially when you're gone a lot and, you don't wanna drive your wife insane, just having to deal with all of it by herself. So, it's great having them close by. And so now I live in the burbs, and which is something I thought I would never do. I thought I'd be like a city guy my whole life, and it's great, man. The quiet, and especially because like we tour a lot, and so getting the chaos on tour, you're in bars and clubs all the time, and in a van or a bus, and city to city. Um, it's nice to come home and just like have some quiet, chill time.
Yeah, yeah. That always interests me because I think you've got such kind of highs with kind of playing and performing, and then, like you say, going home and you get that peace and quiet. And I don't know if some people struggle with that sometimes. That kind of extremities of your kind of life in that respect. It's not your normal kind of job, is it?
Definitely not. No. And I imagine if I didn't have a family, coming home, I'd get stir crazy, and I don't know, who knows what I'd do, Probably drink more, do more drugs or something like that just to keep yourself in
Yeah, kids can drive you to that too as well, mate. I've been there a
That's
few times.
ain't that the truth? Yeah.
So, yeah, I love the fact that you started the band with your brother as well, and you guys have been going for about what 15 plus years now, haven't you? It's
Plus, yeah, man, it's 18 years, I think, right now,
wow,
officially. Yeah,
and
it's wild.
all smooth sailing, especially with your brother in the band as well.
Definitely not smooth sailing, but, he and I get along very well. But, being in a band is hard. We've gone through a lot of different band members throughout our, 18 years. It fascinates me. Some bands, like, can just maintain throughout their entire career as, like, the same lineup, but, that's not our story. It's like it's kinda like a relationship, right? You're, like, in a relationship with a bunch of other people, and you have to align, most everything, your goals and, time on the road, time off the road, work ethic and contributions and all that kinda stuff, and it's like, if all that stuff doesn't align, there's like it's a recipe for disaster. And like some people just don't like to travel. And I think that the excitement of it when you're younger, is like this really cool idea. And you're just like, I'm going to go out on the road and I'm going to sleep on some floors or couches and not get any sleep and drink too much and get up the next day and do it again. And then you're going to do that over and over and over. And then um, for some people, after a while, that wears off, and they're like, "Oh man, I need some stability or stable income or whatever it might be." But so um, some of us are still here doing it. Some of us, couldn't stick with the lifestyle. So yeah, it's a funny thing.
It's an interesting game, man, and I think like you say, living that lifestyle when you're younger, it's probably easier on the body, and I certainly know when I hit 30, 10 years ago, things started to deteriorate, and it took me longer to recover, after a heavy night out. It's
Oh
I can't imagine what it's like for you guys that travel so much on top of that as well.
yeah, and there's a lot of different kinds of bands out there. There's like acid bands and weed smoking bands or sober bands or like drinking bands, and we're like the drinking band. Like we're a beer band really is what it comes down to. And um yeah, I mean luckily like I try not to do like hard alcohol too much or go very hard cuz dude, like you're saying, like when you turn 30 or 40 like some of us, and uh like, all of a sudden, the two-day hangover is a thing, and you're just like, "This is not sustainable, man. I can't do this anymore." So you gotta really kinda watch yourself or pick your days to go for it and then
Yeah.
chill it a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm totally more strategic now. If I know I'm going to have a heavy session, I know, that's 2 days of my life that's gone, and
Yeah.
fatherly responsibilities out the window for sure, man. It's
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
to make them sacrifices, but that's cool, man. So So I always like to kind of, dig into your music. Naturally, that we're a music show. But for those kind of discovering Brothers Comatose still, how would you kind of describe your sound in your words?
Well, we came up with a term. Actually, no, we kind of took over this term that a guy kept commenting on one of our Facebook posts called, and he called us golden grass, which is like, for those of you in the UK, California, Northern California specifically, is known for like the rolling golden hills. Like in the summertime, um, it dries out and all the grass turns this like golden color, and we just have these like rolling hills and stuff. So, um, it sort of embodies this like idea of an amalgamation of different types of music influencing this like string band sound that's not necessarily traditional. There's we all have our different influences, but there's definitely like some rock and roll, some like jam influence, some jazz or pop, or all sorts of stuff, like swing kind of stuff that we all kind of mash in there, and it kind of becomes a this like California string band sound. And there's a bunch of great, string bands coming from the West Coast these days, um, that don't fit into the traditional bluegrass. There's a lot of bands out east or in bluegrass country that do that traditional thing, and they're fucking awesome. Um, Definitely no shade on any of those people, because we get a lot of inspiration from that. But it's a different climate. There's a different groove out here. I feel like a life groove that kind of works its way into the music.
Yeah, yeah, I think you've nailed that. I think when I was listening to your music, it's got that kind of warm, yeah, sort of kind of glow to it. I think for a bluegrass kind of band, primarily with the Americana influences, and yeah, it's just feel good bluegrass. That's how I kind of, had it in
Cool.
my mind. I love it, and yeah, I suppose that's a good segue in terms of Golden Grass. I was listening to that album today. You released that last year, didn't you? So
Yeah, shit. September of last year, I guess.
yeah, that's gone quick. So tell us about that record, man. I'm interested to hear more about that and how that came to be.
That was interesting. We recorded it in chunks, and we did the first half with a producer named Greg Holden, who's from the UK actually, and we had a different mandolin player, and sometime between when we had the first one scheduled and the second one scheduled, he left the band, and we brought on Addie Levy, who from doing the podcast. She's from like real bluegrass country. She's like a bluegrass kid. She grew up, playing more traditional bluegrass. She's from Virginia, and she joined the band like right smack dab in the middle of recording that record. So she jumped in, and we wanted to finish it, and so but Greg Holden, who produced the first half of the record and did our last record also, he had a conflict and couldn't finish the record with us. So we went into our buddy's studio, Tim Bloom, who's in an awesome rock and roll band, straight up like California rock and roll, called the Mother Hips. And he's a great producer and songwriter, and has a recording studio at his house. So we did the second half of the record with him, and he like co-produced the record and helped us. We co-wrote the song Golden Grass also with him, so that kind of informed how the second half of the record was going to go. And just having Addie um, in the band, having like the female voice and her energy and enthusiasm and playing, it's just like it kind of just gelled personality wise, and everything kind of felt so good, and the vibe was so good, and we finished it out, and it's been awesome ever since, and the shows have been super fun, and touring around, and the band's crushing right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love to see it. It's like every time I log on and you come up on my feed, it's always positive. You're growing kind of massively, and it was really cool to see Addie join the band, like you say, and interesting to know that it happened during that time as well. And she's a phenomenal player, a really great girl. And has she
Yeah.
taken you thrifting? I mean, that's one of the conversation pieces that we had when she was on. Is that one of the hobbies is going into a thrift shop and just finding random shit to kind of dress up in? And is
Oh,
that
for
your
sure.
jam?
I mean, we did a little bit of that before, but, it's become this thing. We played a show in Phoenix, was it earlier this year? Yeah, a few months ago, and, we had a friend with us who was, doing some video work for us, and she's like, "What if we went to the Goodwill across the street from the venue, and everybody bought an outfit for another person in the band, kinda like Secret Santa, but for a show, and then you have to wear the thing that they buy you for the show, and so we all bought each other, like, just goofy outfits and filmed the whole process, and it was pretty fun, actually, because we sorta have, like, a uniform going, which makes packing a lot easier, and laundry a lot easier. We all just kinda wear black right now, so it was fun to just step out of that for a little bit and just wear some goofy ass clothes. So I think we're gonna make it like a more normal thing. We're gonna try to do that more often.
I think you should, man. I think I might take it up, but I need to find someone that will do it with me. So, yeah, if there's anyone
Yeah,
out there, then yeah, drop me an email.
do it.
Um, Yeah, awesome. So, I'd love to kind of go right back to the beginning on what's on Spotify or Bandcamp to just to kind of see your sound back then and kind of how it's developed and what you're playing now. And I feel you've been fairly consistent in terms of your sound. But from your perspective, do you think you've kind of deviated along the years and kind of grown in certain ways?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when we first started, it just kind of felt more, like punk rock, like it just didn't give a shit, just like banging away on the guitar, not really caring. Like dynamics weren't really a thing back then, I feel like. Um, and the shows are still pretty rowdy, but, uh, I feel like I don't know, you put in reps, your hours under your belt, and you kinda you figure things out, like, kinda like the drinking thing. You learn how to be a little more sustainable and how to get more out of it, especially now that, we've been doing it for a while and we're a little older, and so, um but I think, like, our musicianship has developed, our, sense of dynamics, I think, has developed even, within a song, within a show, within a set list. Um, I think our harmonies are tighter, but I think the core is still there, we're still writing songs that I listen back and maybe our songwriting has gotten a little better, but, you know, it's so funny you hear from people, they're like, "Oh, well, I like your early stuff," or other people are like, "Oh, I like your later stuff." I'm like, "Well, who knows, man?" Um, can't please everybody. I guess you just gotta, like, stick with what you feel like you wanna hear out of a band or something.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I suppose kind of thinking back to when you and your brother kind of set things up all those years back, where you are now, is that kind of how you envisioned it, or what was kind of the kind of thought
Dude,
about
there's
it?
no way I could not have imagined us 18 years in and still not that I didn't have, like, high hopes or big goals or anything like that, but, it's I don't know that you, like, think too far into the future as you're doing it or whatever. It's more in the now, I think, when you first start. I mean, obviously, you have big dreams. You're like, "I can't wait to play, the Fillmore in San Francisco or Red Rocks or, this festival or whatever," and now we've, like, kinda, completed a lot of those goals, and we're like, "Whoa, shit, like, what now? Like, what's the next?" You move the goalposts, and you're like, "How do we get there?" Um, but I think in general, we're just trying to write better songs, and now that I've been jabbering. I forget your question.
No, you did answer it, funny enough, but no, it's interesting, man, 'cause I had some younger artists on a while back, and, when I asked something similar in terms of, where they see their career heading in the next, 5 years or 10 years, they had it all mapped out, like to the T, I'm gonna play the Opry, I'm gonna be in the Country Music Hall of Fame, and I thought, wow, that's some people are more kind of free flowing, but there's some people that just have it, mapped out. Maybe more the Nashville types, I would perhaps say. But
Yeah, that sounds kinda in line with that world for sure. Um, yeah, because I feel like we just never felt or, like, knew where we fit in, we were going for this more raw, like, raucous vibe than, like, pristine picking and stuff, which is, um, a big part of this bluegrass world, which is funny because our fiddle player is, like, a classically trained fiddle player, but he's, like, a redneck from Pennsylvania at the same time, he listens to, like, country music and stuff, and Addie, she's her, like, bluegrass to the core. But my brother and I were more like, rock and roll, like Stones and Zeppelin, just like loose, like and we didn't go to school for music. We didn't uh practice practice scales or anything, even though I should have. If I could go back, I'd probably do that more. But yeah, it was more of like just raw the raw feeling, the raw vibes, and so I feel like now that we're all together, we gel nicely and kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. It's a yin and yang sort of thing.
yeah, yeah, I would imagine. I mean, I say imagine because I'm going to go see you guys in September. It's in my diary. I'm going to do it. But I would imagine that that makes an interesting, energetic, kind of different kind of show. I mean, how would you describe the kind of live performances that you guys do?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think rowdy is a good way to describe it, even though we play some mellower stuff. We like. Um, it's funny. We've always had like some mellow tunes, right? But in the early days, we didn't know how to put those into the set or keep them in the set. I should say. We always had trouble. Like once people are like locked in and raging and dancing and partying. Always kind of were like, skip the slow one, keep it fast, and then just like boom, 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 like pound them with the fast stuff. But over the years, um, we've kind of learned that those are also important parts of the show, and that like it needs to ebb and flow, and it needs to be like a bit of a roller coaster, so people can kind of collect themselves, and then rage again when it's time to rage. So I feel like we've gotten a little better at constructing a set that allows for that, and, um, and we also try to, like, be inclusive of the crowd, like, that's always been an important part of our set and that we've, continued to do, like, invite people up on stage to sing or play, an instrument, we have a song called "Morning Time." It's a duet that we did with our friend Nikki Bloom, and it's a lot of people know that song, and, we always invite, like, a random lady up to sing it with us, and sometimes it's, uh, incredible, and then sometimes it crashes and burns, but you never know, and it keeps it exciting for us, and I think it's exciting for the crowd because you're like, "Oh my god, is she gonna be awesome? Oh my god, is she gonna forget all the words or whatever? Or can she just maybe not sing? Who knows?" Um, so it keeps it exciting for everybody, so,
Yeah, keeps it fresh, man. I mean, honest thoughts, dude. UK crowds, we've been told a lot that we're very quiet, or we'll just kind of we're into it, into the music, but we'll kind of stand there and kind of nod along, and we're not particularly rowdy in respect to perhaps American crowds or some other people. But how do you find us?
um, I had a great time, last year. It was the first time playing, an actual show, in London, and it was awesome, man. I find it's a common thing in big cities to have, uh, mellower crowds. I don't know if it's, like, I'm not sure what it is, like, why I mean, I find the same thing, our kind of our hometown shows, even though none of us live in San Francisco proper anymore, but, when we play a show in San Francisco, it's like it's not, like, raging crowds. People don't, like, dance with abandon, and, I don't know why that is, if it's, like, too cool for school or afraid that people are gonna think you're, like, your dance moves are not cool or whatever. I don't know what it is, I'm not sure. But it's the same thing if we play in Seattle or Portland or London. It's just, like, a little more reserved. It's like, I know they're having a good time, but, like, if you go 2, 3 hours outside of the Bay Area where we live, like, up in the foothills, like, yeah, where it's not like a normal tour stop for a lot of bands, like, people go nuts, like, or just, like, dancing constantly, and I don't know if that's, like, people are starved for live music or if it's just, like, something about um, that world up there where they're just like, "We don't give a fuck, like, we're just gonna go for it," and I noticed that a lot with more remote places, and so, yeah, nothing against, London crowds. I mean, I guess we'll find out because 'cause we're doing some other shows outside of London this time.
Yeah.
Leamington's well, you better bring it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll if they don't, I'll make sure that they at least try and watch my
Yeah,
shitty
get
dance
'em ripping
moves.
in the crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You might kick me out at one stage, but you're a drinking band, so I should fit in right with you guys.
perfect.
So I like to break up the show kind of midway because sometimes the questions can get intense. Just to break up with a quick fire round of more questions that are just going to put you on the spot, mate.
Alright,
But there's no thinking, no explaining, just whatever you say is correct, dude. So I've got 5 questions. Are you ready, mate?
ready.
Right. Number one, favorite musician or song from your childhood?
Uh, uh, Jimmy Page, Ramble On.
One independent artist more people should know about.
Ooh, Bones of J.R. Jones.
Best album or song you've heard from the last 5 years.
Best album or song. Man, that is hard. I feel like I don't listen to full albums anymore, which is so sad. But I've always loved Alabama Shakes, and I don't know if that's their first album was it must be from more than 5 years ago, but their first album, which I can't remember the name of right now, I've loved that album, and I still go back and listen to it often.
Awesome. One song that always puts you in a good mood.
Sitting sitting on the dock of the bay, Otis Redding.
Classic, man, classic. And last one. So, best artist or band that you've seen play live.
Best live show?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It doesn't have to be genre specific or anything
No,
like
absolutely anything.
oh, man. Yeah, what is their Gogol Bordello. I used to work at a rock club in San Francisco. Are you familiar?
No.
They are like a gypsy punk band. Um, I used to work at this club called Slim's in San Francisco. I didn't know who they were, and it was the wildest show I've ever seen in my life. There was like, at one point, the lead singer was crowd surfing over the crowd on a bass drum, just like beating the bass drum as people are carrying him. And then, the next thing you know, like the crowd lifts up a guy in his wheelchair and starts to crowd surf him over the crowd in a wheelchair. And it was crazy. It's still the craziest show I've ever seen. It was awesome.
That sounds amazing. It sounds like I would picture a punk show, man. That's the images in my mind. So,
Yeah,
yeah, thanks for sharing that, dude. I like to put people on the spot because it just brings out perhaps some interesting memories for you as well.
it does. Yeah.
So that's cool, man. So, like I said right at the beginning, so we are, we were set up as a platform to kind of help platform promote the independent scene because that's where we live, that's what we love, and there's just so many kind of cool and amazing artists, and it just seem to be coming out of the woodwork every day, man. So we're always on the hunt. For new artists or new music that perhaps we haven't heard yet. So, is there anyone that you recommend we should check out from the kind of indie scene?
Um, Are you talking like in our string band world?
Um, yeah, just kind of in the country, Americana kind of roots genres. So yeah, bluegrass or even outside of that slightly. Someone that you personally love and think actually they should be getting more listens or views or whatever it might be.
Let's see, who have it's so funny, like, now that I'm on the spot, it's so hard to come up with something that I wanna recommend to people.
It's always
Uh,
difficult.
yeah, let's see here, some of our friends' bands, well, AJ Lee and Blue Summit, they're another California, um, bluegrass band, incredible. We did a video with AJ Lee, we did a cover of Neil Young's Harvest Moon, and it exploded. Um I never knew that anything that would happen. It's got, like, fucking, I don't know, 11 million views on YouTube or something like that. And that was just something we did in my old, studio office space, and it was like they are awesome, highly recommend. Our buddies Goodnight Texas are super cool, and, our friends Rainbow Girls are awesome. They are, a great, like, folk trio, harmonies. They're great songwriters. So yeah, a lot of California bands for you right there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one to check out. I mean, I'm going to go on a virtual road trip soon, and my plan is to kind of virtually visit every American state that I can to find out, about the indie scene, about, the artists, and just to kind of find out more. So it's cool to find out about California, and I'll definitely have to kind of stop by there again on my virtual road trip. One day it'd be nice to kind of do it in person, but I don't think the wife would let me kind of leave the house for a year or two.
Yeah.
On a
Not
whim.
at this point. Not till the kids are in college.
And even then, I think I'm on dodgy grounds with that. But no,
Yeah.
thanks for kind of sharing that. That's there's certainly new names for us, and yeah, like I said, there's just so much new music. I think, when I speak to people kind of outside of what I do with the podcast and kind of music stuff, they say that there's just no new music. That's why they listen to the classics and, just stuck in a rut. And I think that's just not true. I just don't think it's platformed very well on mainstream radio or just in general, man. I think it's just kind of neglected somewhat. And you've got to do more kind of digging around for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, asking people is such a great way to do it because, I mean, there are so many bands out there. I mean, so many songs released on Spotify every single day, And that's not even mentioning the AI shit, but and so it's hard to sift through all that stuff and like, especially with social media right now, you can't even see you can hardly see the people that you follow or that you wanna see? So
Yeah.
it's like, how do you keep up with all that? Um, so yeah, I think that's a good way to go about it. Ask people you're interviewing and
Yeah.
then ask them.
It's worked well, and actually, we've had a lot of new guests on the podcast just from literally doing that. Or it used to work on Spotify. I won't get on my soapbox about the AI stuff again because I kind of went off on a tangent on another show. Probably bored
Yeah,
the guests to kind of tears in the process. But that used to be a great way for discovery. You'd kind of type in a playlist of stuff that you want, your country, soul, maybe, that I was going down a rabbit hole with, and it'd give you some really cool kind of a lot of indie artists, probably because I that's what I listen to mainly, and it'd kick out so many cool, songs, artists, albums, and it would create guests for me for the podcast. But it doesn't seem to be doing that now. It's platforming AI music, and I think they're in the process of trying to tackle that on Spotify, but, not quick enough and not well enough for my kind of liking, and yeah,
yeah,
it's a real shame, man.
it is. I agree.
Um, but there you go. So I won't go down that rabbit hole. But so I always say on the show, I'm a music fan, not an expert. That just gives me poetic license to talk a lot of shit about stuff I probably don't know too much about. But I'm
Yeah.
always interested about the creative process, and particularly for guys like you in a band. Because songwriting and your creative flow is going to be different, obviously, to somebody that's just a singer songwriter on their own. So how do you guys work in terms of who does what essentially, mate?
Well, a lot of us write songs. It was yeah, pretty much everybody most of the band members now, like, bring ideas to the table at least. Some of us, more finished ideas or full songs, and then some people have, cool ideas and bring in, then we can, collaborate on stuff, and, we've done it all the ways, from, like, fully formed songs with arrangements, like, being brought to the band or like, "Hey, what do you think of this groove? Like, let's come up with a cool, lyric for it." Or like, "Hey, let's book a songwriting session with our friend Melody Walker, who lives in Nashville, who used to live in the Bay Area, but now she's like Grammy awa she's been writing songs with Sierra Farrell, and, and so we got together with her, and it was the whole band and her in the room, and which is a very uncommon thing to have that many people in a room writing a song, and we got a really cool song out of it, and we just recorded that, and, so I think there's a lot of people probably have a lot more rhyme and reason to their process, but, we're pretty haphazard with it now, and especially because being on the road a lot, it's hard to write on the road, um but it's cool to come up with collaborative ideas and stuff while you're out, and you can, like, let things develop and come back to them and hopefully get them finished, and get them recorded.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So what's your kind of favorite part personally? What do you like to kind of get involved in?
In the creative process,
Yes, yeah.
uh, you know, I I like a lot of it. The easiest part for me is, like, finding chords and a melody, like, that's, like, super, um easy to come up with stuff, ideas for me. The lyrics are always the hardest part for me because it's like I always I guess I have, like, imposter syndrome still after all these years, and I'm like, "No, that sounds dumb," or, "Oh, that's too cliche," or blah, 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 and I go through so many revisions before I get to the final product, like scrapping, I'll write a few verses and then wake up the next morning, I'm like, "That's shit." Like, throw it all away and start from scratch. I'm like, "Oh, man, how am I ever gonna get anything done like this?" But, I think everybody has their, forte, whatever comes easier to them, um, and for me, it's usually the melody and the groove and the chords and stuff like that.
Cool, man. Yeah, I just like to ask this because I think people are big kind of fans of what you do. They're interested in kind of having a peek behind the curtain and seeing, how do you write such awesome songs, and how do you get to, I suppose the hardest part, like you say, sometimes is just putting pen to paper and getting the words out. And some people like yourself find it easy with the melody side of things, and it's not easy stuff, man. Really difficult, but yeah, it was interesting. You're kind of dialing back a little bit about you mentioning a cover of Neil Young's song that is just absolutely exploded. Such a cool cover of that in your kind of style. You also did a cover of Valerie, I think, didn't you as well?
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is done really well.
we got that on a record, and, actually, to give a quick shout out to the Zootons, who not a lot of people know. I mean, probably in the UK, a lot of people know that the Zootons wrote that song, but, I saw the Zootons at the club that I worked at in London, and I'm sorry, not in London, in San Francisco, and, I loved their show, and I was, like, super into them, and I got the album. I think they were on their very first tour ever, outside of the UK, and, it was so good, and, I didn't even know that they wrote that because I heard the Amy Winehouse version, and I was a huge
Yeah,
Winehouse fan, and, I didn't know at first that they wrote that song. I think we started covering it the first time we played it was the day that she died, and we're like, "Dude, we gotta play this song at the show," and, um, it's like such a for me because I love Amy Winehouse so much and the Zootons, I'm like, it's a cool tribute, and, and people really liked it, so we've kind of it's, like, stuck with us after all these years, so we're still doing
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I prefer their version. They're a band from Liverpool, I think. I believe they are anyway.
Oh, nice.
So they seem really interesting. But yeah, I just loved your guys' version of that. And yeah, rightly so, man. You say 11 or 12 million views. I think that's about right. I think people need to head over to YouTube and just give it a spin. It's awesome, man. Um,
Thanks.
So you'll be pleased to know I've only got a couple more questions, mate, because I've been absolutely hammering you throughout this. But I
It's
just
all
had
good,
so
man.
much to ask, dude.
I do it.
But yeah, I suppose one I like to ask is, I suppose for musicians as well, mainly, is that you guys have unique stresses. We talked about, the highs of being out on the road and performing and being in bars and then going home and it's just, deadly quiet. And I don't know if some people perhaps struggle with the mental health aspect as that, but I suppose thinking about the things that you do, is there things that kind of help you, stay on the straight and narrow and just kind of keep your head up and being positive? Really, any tricks that you do, mate?
Try to sleep as much as possible. I know, I mean, from having kids, like, if I don't get enough sleep, I'm like a different beast. I'm just, like, irritable, I yell more. I'm just such a I'm like myself when I get a solid night of sleep, which is fucking hard to do on the road because you're up until, especially because it is the polar opposite of, like, the dad schedule that I live at home. I try to be in bed at, like, 10 o'clock, 10-ish when I'm at home, because I wake up at, like, 6:30 or whatever, and then I'm out on the road, and we're like you have to, like, start cranking things up at 10 o'clock. You're, like, getting ready to get on stage, and you're just like, "What the fuck? Okay, let's do this." And then you're in bed at, like, 2, and hopefully you can get a good night of sleep, because then you gotta but then who knows when you gotta get in the van to get to the next destination. So, let's see here. D Get plenty of sleep, try not to drink too much, go on little walks, like, solo time is super important, because if you're, in a van with everybody, even though I love everybody in our band and crew, it's like having your own personal space is pretty important, and, yeah, just kinda dipping out as much as you possibly can, and, noise canceling headphones when you're ready to, like, shut out the rest of the world and you wanna sit in the back of the van and, like, just be in your own headspace for a little bit. So,
There you go.
those are my things.
That's some sage advice, dude. Thanks for sharing that, mate. Yeah, I'm adding that to my list. Noise cancelling headphones. That will certainly work at home. I know that. Oh man, so we talked about you guys going back out on the road, coming to Europe. I mean, kind of beyond that, mate. What kind of things have you got planned? I always ask it, and people go, "Well, obviously recording and touring and playing music. What else?" But what for you, mate?
Well, man, now that hearing that you said you just interviewed somebody that had, like, their entire next 5 years planned out, now I feel like I gotta get on that train a little bit more. For me, I don't know if you've ever heard, do you know Red Rocks? Are you familiar with
Yeah,
Red Rocks
yeah,
in
that's on my
Alberta,
bucket
Canada?
list of places to go. Yeah.
It's also on, my bucket list. It's also in Morrison, Colorado, the name of the town, which is, my last name, and my brother who plays banjo in the band. So it's always been like a bucket list for us, and we got so close a few days ago, we, like, um, almost got the spot to open up a show at Red Rocks. At the last minute, it went away, unfortunately, for, um, reasons I can't really talk about, but we're, like, a little bit closer now than we were before, so we're gonna play Red Rocks next year, hopefully.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations, dude. Yeah, it just looks like an awesome venue. And anyone I speak to on the podcast that have played there said it's just like nothing else. So yeah, I think Jonathan Payton, who was on the podcast a while back, he got to open up for Zach Bryan, but so similar circumstances. That first show got cancelled because of the weather, because you're just kind of totally exposed out there, aren't you?
Yeah.
So fortunately, he managed to get back on, but another date. But yeah, good for you guys, man. Be keen to kind of see how you get on with that. So is any particular date next year that's happening?
No, 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 this is just a pipe dream, but the fact that the booker, uh I guess basically what happened is um, I guess, like, somebody dropped off a show for whatever reason, and the booker was like, "Hey, how about Brothers Comatose?" And like, assumed that we were kinda in and hit us up and like, "Hey, are you guys available?" We're like, No, but we'll make it available, so that we can play Red Rocks, and then some miscommunication happened, and we didn't end up getting it, but the fact that, we're on the radar is
Mm.
and we recommended by the booker is, like, that means hopefully we'll get in next year, so but yeah, we have, like, we got a couple songs coming out in the next couple few months, um, and, yeah, man, we're gonna keep the train going. We got a lot
Hell
of shows,
yeah.
announced a ton of shows yesterday, so the rest of our year is pretty jam-packed, so, we'll be touring a lot.
Yeah, man, you guys are grinding it out. So where can people primarily find you? Obviously on the usual socials like Instagram, Facebook, and you got a website as well?
Website, thebrotherscomatose.com. We got a lot of videos on YouTube. Go check out YouTube. Yeah, man, we're everywhere. We're on all the socials.
Superb, man. Superb. Look, I appreciate your time, Ben. I know I've been hammering you with all sorts of kind of random questions, so thanks for
I love it.
entertaining me, man. It's
Yeah, good questions. Yeah,
and
solid.
I'm really keen to see you guys in September. So I'm gonna make sure that that doesn't leave my diary at all. And yeah, man, if you got time, I'll grab a beer with you. I'll buy you a pint and of
I'd love
Guinness
it,
or
man.
whatever you guys drink.
I used to live in London, so we'll have to, trade some stories about, UK life and all that.
Yeah, we can talk a lot of shit, mate. So sounds good to me, dude.
Yeah,
Look, man, I'll leave it there then. Just a reminder to the guys out there: please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and thanks for listening and being part of the community. And obviously, thanks to you, Ben. I appreciate your time, brother.
my pleasure, dude. Thank you.